Hey, what is up, guys? It is Cameron Talks Football, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a recap of the two games of the AFC and the NFC Championship game between the 49ers and the Lions, and the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. So now that we know that the Chiefs and the 49ers are going to be playing in the Super Bowl in Vegas, we're going to be doing a recap of the two games that just happened recently on Sunday. So let's get right into it and see how they really did play out. Everyone does know the score, of course. The first one is right here. We have the Chiefs and the Ravens. It was a 17 to 10 game. It was mainly a defensive game. The Chiefs' defense is actually playing really great. It's mainly just outside of Travis Kelce. Can you stop Travis Kelce? Then you could possibly win this game because over this playoff run, he's been playing pretty well. This game he had over 100 receiving yards. He had 110 receiving yards, 116 receiving yards off of 11 receptions, averaging 10.5 yards per reception and one touchdown. But then you go to Mahomes, he had a good game too. He had 241 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions, with a 76% completion percentage and a 105 point 78 QBR. That's actually pretty good. I think the highest is like 130 something, or I believe. Almost near perfect, pretty close as you could say. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not do anything, as you could see. Patrick Mahomes, he ran when he needed to, and that worked. And then Isaiah Pacheco, he has scored a touchdown in back-to-back games in this playoff run. He's been playing great this whole playoff run. So as you can see here, he got a touchdown. I think he's gonna score in this Super Bowl. He did score in the last Super Bowl too, and I think he's gonna get around 72 yards off of 20 carries, and he's gonna score a touchdown. And I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a defensive game. I think the 49ers defense is gonna show out a little bit, and I think this might honestly be better than their 2019 rematch, when they played, what is it? I think it was in Tampa they played in. Oh no, it was in Miami. It was in Miami they played. But as you can see, outside of Travis Kelce, they didn't really do that much of receiving. They didn't have that good of a game. Rashid Rice is actually the best option outside of Travis Kelce. Rashid Rice is playing great as a rookie. He's playing honestly pretty impressive. He's had one or two 100-yard receiving games, and when Travis Kelce doesn't play the best, you see Rashid Rice. He usually gets at least 5+ receptions for around 50 yards. The reason he didn't get 50 yards is because Travis Kelce had 11 receptions for 116 yards. That is absolutely crazy for a tight end his age, getting 116 yards off of 11 receptions. I understand a lot of them were like pretty close checkdowns, but then you saw in some of the other plays he had like a 20-yard reception and then like a 15-yard reception. I think the 20-yard reception was on the touchdown actually. But he did have a good game. And then you go to their defense. They have one sack right here from Wharton, and they I think that was Karlaftis got a sack, and then Justin Reed. Justin Reed's sack was actually one of the most important sacks because they were in field goal range. Justin Tucker has one of the best field goal ranges as a kicker, and with that sack, when they overloaded one side and Lamar pretty much had to just take the sack, that was who got the sack was Justin Reed. He has been playing great too. I think outside of Justin Reed. Let me see if I can. Where is his name? Where is it? I can't even find his name right now. But Trent McDuffie, he has been playing great. He is a second-year corner. He made the All-Pro team. He was shutting down Zay Flowers. But then L'Jarius Sneed, honestly, I think he was the MVP, low key, because if you think about it, he was the one, I'm pretty sure, yeah, he was the one that knocked that fumble out of Zay Flowers' hands at the inches line. They were this close from scoring a touchdown. And that game would have pretty much been tied because that field goal from Justin Tucker made a one-score game, and that touchdown would have made it 17-17. And then that would have been a more fun game to watch because it was not that fun. Honestly thought it would be an offensive explosion of a game because the Ravens offense and the Chiefs offense are both great, and then they both have good defenses. But it looks, as you can see from the final score, the defenses did show out more than the offenses did, and that's okay. People don't like defensive games. They like offenses, and especially in this era of football, it's all offense. But now Lamar Jackson is 2-6. I think, yeah, 2-6. Yeah, 2-6 in the playoffs. His two playoff wins are against Ryan Tannehill and a rookie quarterback in CJ Stroud. Even though CJ Stroud is playing beyond his years, it's still a rookie, and rookies usually don't play the best in the playoffs because they don't have the experience. Other on the other hand, Mahomes, he has been playing extremely well in the playoffs in his postseason career. He has only lost one, I think, one away game in the postseason. Actually, no, I don't think he's lost any, actually. Actually, yeah, he hasn't lost any, I believe. But his only playoff losses have really been against Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. And one of Tom Brady's was in the Super Bowl. But Mahomes has gone to the Super Bowl 4 times in his 6 years as a starter. That is actually really impressive. Him and Tom Brady's stats have been really compared in the first couple years of their career. But Mahomes came into the league where the league was like mainly like it was more like a passing area where Tom Brady was more of like the run dominant, and then it started to become more passing. That's why he became so great, was because he was able to learn into the passing era where Mahomes just straight went into it. And yeah, that's pretty much how he is playing now. He's just passing the ball insanely well. But yeah, that is the final recap. We have Ravens losing at home to the Kansas City Chiefs. They were Super Bowl favorites, and then they just crash out. It's just classic Lamar in the playoffs. And then we go to the Lions versus the 49ers. As you can see here, going into halftime, the Lions had a 24 to 7 lead. 24 to 7 lead. All they would have to do is just score another touchdown or whatever, and they would have been playing great. But then you see Dan Campbell not kick a field goal to tie the game, and that game would have went into overtime possibly because that last drive touchdown that went to Jamison Williams, that would have tied the game and really helped out this team. But they after the second half, they just started to play terrible. So looking into the box score, Jared Goff did have a good game, 25 completions for 41 attempts for 273 yards, 60 completion percentage. That is not great because how many passes he did throw. That's why it's pretty low as a completion percentage, and a low QBR because of the completions to attempts ratio and then the percentage. But then Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery did have good games rushing the ball, as you could see here. And then that one Jamison Williams rushing touchdown at the beginning of the game. Jahmyr Gibbs did not have a good receiving game. Usually he does have a good receiving game, but I don't know what happened there. Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown played amazing. But then in the second half, Amon-Ra he was at like 70 receiving yards in the first half, and then all of a sudden just started to die out. And I don't know what happened, but they just didn't get him the ball at all. They didn't scheme him open. It was weird watching this game, but yeah, they just didn't try and get him the ball. But then you go on defense and you go all the way to where I can't even find what his name is. But yeah, it was weird. They just weren't playing good. Aiden Hutchinson, he had a good game. They were just not they were double teaming him after the first couple of drives where he did have two batted balls down at the line of scrimmage. I think he did have one sack in this game, but it was just not the best game really for the Lions in the second half. The first half Lions were amazing. They looked like they were gonna go to the Super Bowl and play great in the Super Bowl. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna be the Chiefs versus Lions in the Super Bowl." And then the second half, the Lions just did not know how to play football, and they just completely crashed out. Now, looking at the 49ers led by Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, he actually did have a good game here. Uh, 20, 20 completions at 31 attempts, 64 completion percentage. That's not the best, of course. Everyone knows that. You want to be around 70 to, I would say, have a good game. But then you see 261 passing yards, one touchdown, one interception. That's why his QBR did dip a little bit to 98.4. And then rushing, Christian McCaffrey did not, have a 100-yard game. That's usually what you expect out of Christian McCaffrey. But those two touchdowns really did pretty much seal the deal and pretty much say, okay, it's okay that he didn't have 100 rushing yards because he had two touchdowns. And off of 20 attempts, 190 yards is actually pretty good. So even though he is an all-pro, people are like, oh, he probably should easily get 100 yards off of 20 attempts. But then you see off of the receiving yards, Brandon Ayuk had a good game. DBO Samuel had a good game. And then Christian McCaffrey had a good game receiving too. So that's why they didn't really run the ball as much because they needed to pass the ball in the second half more than run the ball. That is why Christian McCaffrey did not have over 100 yards. If it was a closer game, going through the whole game, then yeah, Christian McCaffrey would easily have over 100 yards. But he just didn't. They pretty much had to pass. That's why you see Christian McCaffrey had 42 receiving yards. Usually he's at like 30 to 25 receiving yards. 28 receiving yards was his longest. That's why his average was around 10.5. On the defensive side, Nick Bosa had a great game, 2 sacks, 3 tackles. I think those are the only 2 sacks. Yeah, those are the only 2 sacks. If Nick Bosa wants to help this team win the Super Bowl, he needs to repeat this performance right here. He needs to get an interception. No, I don't know why I said interception. He needs to at least get a sack and force turnovers, force pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Keep him inside the pocket because when he extends outside the pocket, he is going to create plays and look for Travis Kelce downfield. That is not what you want if you are the 49ers. It's just not great. It's not going to end well. Everyone knows that when Patrick Mahomes is outside the pocket, he plays at his best. He wants to run outside the pocket if he has to create plays downfield. If you keep him inside the pocket, you're probably going to make him their tackles hold. Their 2 tackles are easily one of the most penalized players in the league. I'm pretty sure their right tackle, Luan Taylor, is the most penalized right tackle in the league. He false starts, he holds, he does all these kinds of penalties that an offensive lineman can do. So if this happens, I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl. Now, looking at the matchup, it's going to be the 49ers versus the Chiefs. I think the 49ers are going to win 34 to 28. 49ers, they're going to get their revenge in the repeat Super Bowl in Vegas. If you guys really do like my prediction, make sure you guys do check it out. I think it's going to be a great game here. I think the 49ers are going to win. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I hope for an offensive game. And that's what everyone wants to see in the Super Bowl is offense because the 2 best teams made the Super Bowl. They want to see what these teams can do. Hopefully, it's a lot of scoring. If you guys did like this, make sure you guys do drop it in the comments. Make sure you guys do like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.